What was it? Forgiveness for those who commit major sins if they do not associate anything other than Allah. Yeah? So these three things in the authentic hadith by Muslim. Okay? So that's why important for us to know this Isra Mi'raj. Every year we need to remind ourselves. It's not something that we make dua. No, there's no such thing as special dua, no special prayer, no special observance. No, it's just a matter to remind ourselves of a special event in history called Isra Mi'raj. It is also important to denote the importance of the place called Masjidil Aqsa. Okay, it is important for us to note this place. It must be preserved in our hands, in the hands of Muslims, because of historical significance. It was also the place of the Qibla. The first Qibla, when the prayer was first revealed, everybody was facing towards Masjidil Aqsa. So it need to be preserved, inshallah. Yeah, and as you know, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that anybody who prays in the mosque will be given a reward of 500 rewards in the prayer. If you pray in Masjid al-Haram in Makkah, it will be 100,000. In Medina Nabawi will be 1,000. In Masjid al-Aqsa will be 500. Okay?
And suppose you pray in the regular mass, like what we have over here.
Sorry?
Suppose you pray in our regular mass.
It's normal, 27, inshallah.
27.
Yeah, but of course, this is a normal mosque that we go to. It's 27, inshallah. Yeah, because this is without all the extra rewards, going to the mosque, walking to the mosque, angels asking for forgiveness and everything. Yeah. Ali. Yes. Come.
So one day of praying in the mosque, Masjid in Mecca, is 100,000 light years worth of prayers.
Yes.
So therefore, if you haven't done all your sunnah prayers, and you haven't quite made them up, then does that mean that the fact that you've been to Mecca?
No. Very tricky English. Please, can you tell about 2-3 minutes how was Masjid Al-Aqsa in your experience? You went to Masjid Al-Aqsa last year. How was it? How did you feel?
I mean, obviously, once you step in there, you just think of the history behind the place, how the Sahaba, how they all were overwhelmed when they entered the place and set foot. You remember stories of Salahuddin.
You need to speak louder for the sisters.
Come down more.
Come down here.
Front of the camera, yeah?
CIA. Can you hear me? Okay. When you step inside, you obviously feel overwhelmed because you feel so much history about the place, and with the recent conflict, I mean, people have tried making it really difficult for us. So it's an accomplishment because you overcome barriers, fi sabilillah. And once you're inside, there's a big misconception of the Dome of the Rock being thought that it's Masjid Al-Aqsa. That's not a mosque. It was built as a sanctuary. Eventually, after Salahuddin, it was built as a sanctuary, so people can, the horses can be kept in and the soldiers can be kept in there to protect the mosque. So, but because it's so beautiful, we see on all the photos, we generally think the one with the golden dome, it's called the Dome of the Rock actually, we think it's Masjid Al-Aqsa, but it's not. Masjid Al-Aqsa is 2 minutes away from it. The minbar inside it, for example, was, after it was conquered again, all the different carpenters from all of the Ummah were called together so they can build a minbar. The place where...
What is a minbar?
It's what the Imam goes up and stands on to give the Friday khutbahs, Friday sermons. So each carpenter contributed to this. About 30 years ago, Zionists actually destroyed this. They burnt it because they went inside and they managed to burn it. Alhamdulillah, 2-3 years ago, again, we had some restoration work from carpenters from Arabian Peninsula and again, like to resemble how it was. But it's a beautiful experience. It's only one floor, so men and women, brothers and sisters, they pray together, and the tiling inside it's very beautiful. And I mean, we should all try to, inshallah, Allah allows us to go and visit that place as well. That's about it. Any questions?
Is it open all the time, every day?
It depends, because what happens is, outside the mosque, I mean, East Jerusalem is actually controlled by Israel. So what happens is, if there isn't so-called, incursions or any conflicts going on, supposedly yes, it's allowed, but they can control who goes inside.
Didn't they control that only over 40 years can enter?
That's for the people of the Gaza Strip and West Bank.
I see.
So for Friday sermons, if you want to go, you either have to have an Israeli passport, as being an Israeli citizen, or you have to be above the age of 40.
Yes.
And it's only for men, it's not for women. So I mean, last year alone, 65 sisters gave birth at checkpoints
I don't know.
because they were trying to travel and because they made life so difficult for you.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Okay, so we make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will liberate the Masjid Al-Aqsa, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them patience, the people of Palestine, and so that these people will be able to worship freely, and not only that, for people like us to be able to visit freely, inshallah, in Palestine. Yeah. So this is the important part about the holiest mosque. In fact, Prophet Muhammad said, do not make a journey except for 3 mosques, in Mecca, Medina, and also in Masjid Al-Aqsa in Darussalam. Okay. It is also important. Okay, so the lesson to be learned is important is the centrality of the prayer. The prayer is very important. As you know, the second pillar of Islam. It is the highest thing that you can achieve to be closer to Allah, is a prayer. Yeah. So it's very important to note this. Also, a lesson to be learned Isra Mi'raj is, of course, as we said just now about the Masjid Al-Aqsa, we need to make dua to Allah, yeah, to preserve it. And also we need to know the historical importance of Masjid Al-Aqsa. Lastly, it is important to know that whatever the circumstances is, always know that Allah will always help whoever wants Allah's help. Always trust in Allah. Okay, remember we said about how Prophet Muhammad was very sad, and because of that, his trust in Allah will always try to bring a better life to anybody else. Yeah. And lastly, whenever anything happened to us, what shall we say? Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. How many times, how many parts of history did this verse was used? Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Which is a verse in the Quran? Al-Imran verse? No, almost close. 1? Okay, 173. Okay, this is regarding the hypocrites who are trying to scare the Muslims. Oh, beware of the enemies are coming. Be scared of them. Yeah, and the Sahaba were saying, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, which means Allah is alone is sufficient for us. He is the best disposer of our affairs. The next one, when was it used? Which prophet? Ibrahim alayhi salam, before he was thrown into the fire. Right? He was saying, Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil, which means Allah alone is sufficient for me. He is the best disposer of our affairs, because as you know, how can a person survive in the fire? Yeah, so he was thrown in the fire, but as you know, Allah told the fire to be cool, literally. Yeah, not to destroy Ibrahim, and he survived. Last one, when was it? How was it used? Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. How many times have I told this group already? How many times? Many, many times. When Prophet Muhammad was informing them about what? Yeah? Which one? Tell me.
You tell us.
I think it's about Dajjal. Okay? So everybody was so scared. Yeah? That
What Dajjal means?
the Dajjal, coming with Dajjal.
Oh.
Okay? That Prophet Muhammad was telling them, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Allah alone is sufficient for us. He is the best disposer of affairs for us. Okay? The last one I will tell you again is either Dajjal or the coming of the Gog and Magog. Either one of these two. Okay? I can't remember exactly the history. I think either one of these two. Yeah, I will tell you again when was it, but Prophet Muhammad SAW was saying something that the event is going to happen and it's very, very near, and everybody was so scared. Yeah, but Prophet Muhammad SAW said, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, which means Allah alone is sufficient for us. He is the best disposer of affairs for us. Okay, now